Good afternoon, folks. Here we go again. We're into a new year, 2018, and a happy new year to anybody that's watching. We've got another one-loss side match in this year's VP4 US Open, and it's a round 8 match between MofoThePat from the United States and Albinario from Sweden. A race to 11, which is due to start in about just over 5 minutes time, and that 5 minutes will give us enough time to have a look at the bracket and see how these players got here. This is a match that we're going to be watching, Albinario versus Mofo. Now if we look at the start of the tournament, excuse me, if we look up here, we can get there, we'll see that Albinario and Mr. Bill both had a bye to the second round, and in that match Mr. Bill was 12-6 down and managed to come back and somehow win against Albinario, and Albinario went to the one-loss side and he managed to get a forfeit against Ding Junhui. And then after that, let's go back, see if we can get this thing to work. After that match, Albinario went through to round 4 on a one-loss side, and Albinario won against Hazard by 11 racks to 2. So he had a comfortable 2 victories when he got into the one-loss side, and then he had a victory against Mr. Strocum by 11 racks to 5, and then his next match was against Vinces, who he also beat by 11 racks to 5. And then of course we had the match that Albinario was hanging on. He was leading Larry by 6 racks to 2. I think it was 9-5 at one stage. Larry got back into it, got into the lead, was leading by 10 racks to 9, and then the wheels came off Larry's comeback. Everything fell apart. He couldn't put Albinario away, and Albinario somehow won out 11 racks to 10, and this is how he's got here. Now if we look at Mofo, if I can find him on the first round or second round, depending whether you got a bye or not, to see if I can find him. That's half the problem, trying to find the players on this. Now where is he? I'm looking down here and I still can't see him. There he is there. In his first match, Mofo won by 16 racks to 7. And then in his poorest performance was against Wink at Me, getting beat by 16 racks to 6. Didn't really get into that match at all. And then he moved over to the one-loss side, where he got a forfeit. Red Dragon didn't turn up. And in his next match, same thing. He got a forfeit against Snake Eyes. But then in his next match, which was against Mr. Bill, he absolutely blew Bill away. 11 racks to 2. Bill never got a sniff, never got a look in at all. And that moved him through to round number 8 on the one-loss side, where he's now going to be playing Albinario today. Now remember the rules, I keep reminding people, it's a race to 11 on the one-loss side, it's alternate break. There are no jump queues in the tournament. You can jump if you can, and the 9 ball is a wild ball on the break. If it goes in, you win the rack. So that's where we are. If we look at the winner's side again, another reminder that later tonight we have a match between Z Carioca from Brazil and Bedhead, I think is from the States, and that's due to start at 7 o'clock tonight, and we'll have that match as well, race to 16. So that covers where we are. I should point out that the winner of this match between Bedhead and Z Carioca, well, it's bad news for them because the winner will play Yamaguchi Taru. Now, I've said all along my money is on Bedhead for being the all-round player that can give Yama a match. Having said that though, when you look at Albinario, he's hanging on by the skin of his teeth in that match against Larry. He might start to play now because he hasn't really looked all that impressive. I mean, he's good when he gets in, but he's been vulnerable as well. So that makes it interesting for the rest of this tournament. We'll see how it goes. But to get that far, he's going to have to overcome Mofo. And Mofo, if he plays like he did against Larry, against Bill, he'll win the match. Simple as that. So the room should be going up any second now. We're just about nudging 3 o'clock. I see we've got more people in, so Happy New Year to you guys. But Mofo definitely played fearless against Mr. Bill. And no doubt about it, he thoroughly deserved his win. Bill just did not get going. He didn't get a chance to get going. It was 10-0 to Mofo before Bill got a rack in the board. Eventually losing 11-2. So it all hinges on how the start goes in this match. So the room is up. We'll dive in. And I think both players are just joining the room. Hopefully we're not going to get a problem. Yep, Mofo's in. Albinario's still in his practice room, but he'll be in a second or two. He'll get the alert to let him know the room is up. There we go. Everything's working okay. The stream looks good. Both players about to lag off. Haven't a clue whose cue's what here. And of course, with it being alternate break, anything can happen. If you don't get that luck on the break, it can really backfire against you. So Mofo has won the lag, and he's breaking off. One ball into the left middle, and a shot in the 2, and the 3 I think is just peeking out behind the 9 ball. He needs to make sure he gets through far enough for this. Well, he's trying to stun across. Left at angle. Doesn't want to block himself out with a 8 ball here. Well, this is going to be the first crucial shot in the rack, getting onto the 6. He needs to avoid that 7 ball. And he's out of line. So now he needs something good. And this is too close to cut comfortably. but he's went for it. A bit brave, so Albinario has got a chance to steal the rack. Getting on the 6 ball was the main issue. If he couldn't get there, he either had to find a good safe, but felt he had to go for it. But in all honesty, it wasn't a good ball to try and cut down the rail. But I think Mofo is going to use the same strategy he did against Bill. He's just looks as if he's just going to go for them. Well, this is still a little tester, this 9 ball. And it goes comfortably, and Albinario to break in rack number 2, and he's leading 1-0 in just a short race to 11. And 2 balls going into the top right, 3 balls going into the bottom left, and Albinario's on the 1 ball. The problem ball straight away. Well, he isn't on the 1 ball. I thought he was on. Is he? Yes, he is on it. Yeah, you can just see it. Of course, the problem to deal with is the 4. What does he do? Does he try and leave a long combo, or does he try and get behind it? Well, it's going to be the combo. And this looks fairly straightforward. Probably just a little gentle roll on the 4. Doesn't want to slam this, he just needs to keep the 4 near that pocket. And that'll do. Well, he's nudged the 5 in. Now, there is a shot here looking at the angle that he can just, I can get my line straight, he can just stun across. Well, the 8 goes past the 9. I hadn't even checked that. That'll do. That makes it even simpler. Didn't look as if that 8 ball would go past the 9. So Albinario is breaking and running in rack number 2. And that's what I mean about alternate break. The first rack gone against the break, gone to Albinario. And of course the second rack, Mofo just cannot respond because he just can't get to the table. So Mofo's broke off in rack number 3. In fact, hang on a minute to adjust my settings here. Where are we? Miscellaneous. That's better. Where's the cue ball going? Oh, well, definitely no shot in the 2. Now, what's he going to try and do? That 2 could possibly bank in past the 7 and 8, but that is ambitious. But what does he do for cover? Well, he's tried to get it safe, but no joy. And that 7 and 8 are going to have to be a combo. This 2 ball's tight on the rail. Albinario has the angle in the 3 to run down off this bottom rail, probably back up the left hand side of the table, unless he does an awful lot more with the cue ball, but the natural path would be to come off the end rail and back up the left hand side. Oh, he's going to scratch, so here is Mofo's chance. The mistake has been made. He's looking at the 7 and the 8. Now they surely have to be just left as a combo. I mean, the 8 is going to the jaw, but it's easily enough made. So he doesn't want to do anything spectacular to try and split them, and he's done it when he didn't really need to. And now this isn't quite as simple. This 5 ball is either going long into this bottom left or across into the left middle. And there's a mistake and a bad choice of shot there by Mofo. No need to split those 2 balls. He should have looked at the angle. Easy enough to make that combo. And an unnecessary mistake has given Albinario a simple enough chance to go 3-0 in front. And that could be all the difference will be in this match. One wrong choice of shot, and Mofo had the chance to get back into the match there, or get himself on the board, and it doesn't look as if it's going to happen. So Albinario duly takes his opportunity, and it's 3-0. And in a race to 11, this is already a mini crisis for Mofo. He's going to have to get his act together quick, and he's going to have to get a bit wiser with his choice of shot. I always say, why do a lot more than you actually really have to? You're only creating problems for yourself. It might look good for people watching, but it doesn't help your score. And that 7 and 8 split has backfired against him. So Albinario in again in rack number 4. Well, if he goes through on the 4 ball and back across off the left hand side to the right, he's got the long 5, and that's going to go wrong. And now he's hampered by that 6 ball, and this is not easy. If he gets the 5, he's won the rack. I don't think there's much doubt about that. It all hinges on this shot. Now, how's his luck? That 6 ball's going to be a blocker. Well, that's a good combo. Now, Mofo needs to be careful here. It's a good combo, but he doesn't want to block himself out. So he's hit it gentle. He played the right shot. He could have hit that too hard and ran behind the 7 ball and blocked himself off in the 5. And now he just needs to get the cue ball anywhere up in the top half of the table. So Mofo has been reprieved a bit in this rack. This time the positional error by Albinario cost him, and it's now 3-1. Mofo breaking off in rack number 5. The 3 ball has gone in. He's got a shot in the 1. He'll have a 2, and then he has to get on that 4, but the problem lies behind the 8 and 9 where the 5 ball is. Once again, he has an angle here where he could do something to try and nudge into the 8 and 9 and 5, but he's taken a huge risk. But a part of the problem as well is the difficulty getting on the 4. The chances are he might have to try and draw to the rail or get lucky. And he's tried to get lucky and it's gone wrong. So now all he's got is a kick. But if he gets the pace in this kick right, he could block Albinario out in the 5 and 9. Oh, he's missed it. Well, it's still not cut and dried because Albinario is going to have no shot in the 5 unless he leaves something extremely difficult, or he tries and plays some sort of cannon or billiard onto the 9, or tries to split them. He's gone round behind. Delicate little positional shot. Well played. Yeah, I had the HUD down at minimal HUD for some reason. I can't remember what I was testing the other day, and I forgot to reset it, so it should be back to the full HUD now. So Albinario's out of line again here on this 6 ball. And once again, the mistake. Now, if Albinario is going to go any further in this tournament, there are 2 guys in this tournament who get out of line but can certainly get themselves out of trouble. And Albinario is going to have to get himself a bit more accurate on these shots, because it's that's costing him. But having said that, Mofo's made a right hash of that one. Blocked entirely in the 7 ball, and this is just going to have to be a kick and hope. If he hits it full in the face, he could push it to the rail over by the 8 ball. Oh, he's got lucky. He has got very lucky. He'll take that any day of the week. And Albinario, well, I don't know why he's doing it that way, but is the angle there? The angle was never there to get behind that 8 ball. And, well, it's a weird choice of shot to try and get a hit on that 7. So, it's another chance for Mofo, and it looks fairly simple enough. Get himself as straight as he can on that 8, and he might... well, this is a bit dodgy, this is dodgy. He needs to take that long into the bottom pocket. He can't take that into the middle now. He has to take it long. If he's going to try and punch it in and run through, well, he's got away with it. I would have went the other way for safety's sake, but the job is done, and it's 3-2. Oh, something flew into the top left. What was it, the 5 ball? Oh, and a shot in the 1 for Albinario. Now, it looks as if he can just run through onto that 8 ball and leave himself nice on the 2. He could finish there and then drop behind the 3. The 3 into that pocket. I don't know what the angle's like in the 1, but, well, he didn't obviously think he could run into the 8, or he wanted to avoid the 8, but either or, he's going to have to play a good shot here to try and hold this cue ball. It's going to have to be really gentle. And it's gone out of line. And no doubt that Mofo's going to be in trouble in a second or two. And this should be an easy enough 3 ball to kick. Now, how's his luck going to be? Oh dear. Well, maybe he's just rushed that shot a bit. He should have got himself lined up. I don't think he spent too much time thinking about it. Maybe he thought it was too easy to kick it, but it's now ball in hand to Albinario. You can drop in behind the 7, just to the left of the 7 for the 7 into the right middle. And as long as he leaves the angle in the 8, he's on the 9, no problem. So just a gentle roll, and that will do. So Albinario is going to open up the gap again. And it's 4 racks to 2. Break goes back to Mofo. In rack number 7. 4 ball goes into the right middle. But no shot in the 1. Well, no shot that is really inviting. He's got to think about a safety. Well, the safety would be the 1 ball to here and the cue ball somewhere down there. Maybe now's not the time to be too brave when you're trailing 4-2. And that looks reasonably good. Well, it's not, because he's left the 1 ball open, didn't get the cover. There's Albinario lining up a bank, or is he looking to just keep the cue ball up the top end of the table? Well, Mofo can see, I think he can see a slight edge in the 1. Maybe not. Let's have a look from his end. Well, no, he can't. Oh, that was unlucky. It was a good effort. So it's going to have to be the 1-3 combo to start off. Oh, that has almost gone frozen to the rail. I think he's okay. No, it's bounced. Well, here's the tough shot here. Look at where the 2 is. And he's got to try and get back off that jaw for the 5. This will be a good shot. Well, as you hit the jaw, and well, how does that look? A little bit of left-hand spin, crank him around the 9 and make the potting angle in the 5. It has to be gentle. And he's hit it full in the face. And this time, he's not got away with it. Now, this is already a crucial rack for Mofo. He has to prove to Albinario that he's well capable of taking these chances and put that bit more pressure on Albinario, but he's hung the 5. In a short race to 11, you don't get many chances to recover, and it's now looking very likely it's going to be 5-2. Oh, he's left himself a wee bit awkward in the 9. It's another little tester. And in it goes. So the lead goes back to 3, and the break goes to Albinario in rack number 8. And the 8 ball goes into the bottom left. And Albinario's sitting nice on the 1. 2 ball up the top end of the table, 5 sitting behind the 9. So there's a little bit of work to do in this to get the run out. But if Albinario breaks and runs here, this is going to hurt Mofo. And that's nice on the 2. Perfect angle. And this looks simple enough now because the line out is there. As long as he gets an angle, well, he's got the angle from that way so he can come across for the 4, but just a simple 4 and he's on the 5. And already there's not been a lot in this match, but the mistakes are happening at the wrong time. And that chance that Mofo had on the 5 ball, well, goodness me, Albinario is trying to be too delicate there, and he's taking his eye right off the 4 ball. He had a big window to get into to get on the 5 anyway. So a second chance here for Mofo, and he simply has to put it away. And this might go wrong. He needs to nudge the 7. Oh dear. Well, if you're going to get 2 chances, Mofo, you must certainly make sure you take at least one of them. And the old hit and hope. And what's more, he's going to scratch. And that's the worst possible outcome. And that there might be a telling result in this rack, because the whole of the table to put the cue ball, and the worst place you could put it was right on the 7. And this is a gift at the end for Albinario. And already Mofo's had 2 or 3 chances from mistakes by Albinario, and he hasn't put them away. And against Bill, he wasn't missing. So it's now 6-2. Albinario's halfway home in this race to 11. And Mofo has broken off. And the 7 ball has gone. Simple enough, gentle 1 on the 4 combo. But he has to get an angle. This is where he has to be careful, because the scratch is on here. If he gets too much bottom in this, he's going to come off there and go straight into that middle pocket. So he's gone the other way, and that was good thinking. A lot of players play the draw off that shot to get up for the 2, and if he had the right angle there, which he did have, he could go forward and around the corner. Well, now he's got a whole area of the table to get that cue ball into. He cannot leave it short. He has to get over to the right. And he can't leave it straight in this 6 ball. He's going to go across to the right for the 6. But he can't be straight. He's got the angle, but he's going to have to punch it in, because he has to get that cue ball out and across for the 8. So he has to hit it. And that's an excellent shot. No hesitation. Slammed it in. And just gentle down the rail. Oh dear. Well, once again, that was careless by Mofo. And too much of a rush. And this is the kind of speed he was playing against Bill, and it worked, but it's not working now. Now, that is when you have to stop and think what isn't working and try and do something about it. You don't have a lot of time to change your strategy, but he really should have slowed down on that 8 ball. The 8 ball went past the 9, no problem. And he didn't have to do anything with the cue ball to have a shot in the 9. And all of a sudden, it's 7-2. And he's frittering chances away here, Mofo. And he's making it easy for Albinario, even though Albinario still make mistakes. Well, there's an even bigger problem. the 9 balls going in the break, and it's 8-2. And Mofo's broken off in the next rack and he's scratched. Well, I mean, if the shit has ever hit the fan, it has hit the fan right now in the last 3 shots. It's now ball in hand to Albinario. Table's wide open, and this is where you'd expect him to run out. And it's looking bleak. And it's looking a horrible start to the new year for Mofo after that great result in his last match. And I have to say, in most of it, he's only got himself to blame. He's had those chances and blew them. Happy New Year, Andy. Never saw that. When did you say that? Probably 15 minutes ago. Now, a quick reminder to those that are watching, we've got the match tonight between Bedhead and Z Karaoke, race to 16 on the winner's side. That's due to start at 7 PM. And Bedhead is my tip for the title. Well, Albinario has gone wrong there. Now, the cut is on, obviously. The bank is on. He's going for the cut. And he's managed to squeeze it in. And it's 9-2. Albinario is just 2 racks away from victory. And I think this is the proverbial mountain to climb for Mofo. Albinario breaks off. The 5, what ball was that? The 3. 3 balls get in. He's going to have to play this with a wee bit of pace or draw to try and get onto that too, if he's cutting it into the middle, this 1 ball. He's played it well. And it's going to be a 5-6 combo, no doubt about that. Well, I think things went wrong for Mofo very early in this match. I'm trying to remember the shot, but he played the wrong choice of shot. I'll need to watch the video again to see it, but that was his first big mistake, and since then it's gone downhill. And then he had that 8 ball along the rail there at the top left hand side of the screen. Just squeeze it past the 9. There was plenty of room, and he just rushed it. Rushed it. A couple of shots here that's cost him dearly. And Albinario is going to be 1 rack away, and this match is all but over. And Mofo breaking off. Well, he scratched the last time he broke. And the worst outcome is a dry break. And the other part of it is leaving the 1 on and a chance for Albinario to run out for the match. But before this match started, on current form, you know, Mofo was well in with a chance. How's that going? Well, he's still got a shot in the 2. I think he can see enough of it. Or can he? I'm sure he can squeeze that in. There's enough of it shown. But they're on paper, there definitely didn't look anything between the 2 players, but Mofo was trying to play free and loose like he did against Bill, and it's just backfired on him. His pace was too quick. He wasn't taking time to think in a couple of shots, and that's where he got shot in the foot. So if Albinario can find a way to get on this 4 ball, because it's not easy, it's blocked out by the 7 for that corner pocket. And, well, it's looking like the bank Well, he's played the cut and a beautiful shot, well controlled pace. And that was missed because he had English on the cue ball there to come back square for the 6 ball. It looked a worse miss than it was, but it's another chance for Mofo to stay in the match. And he's way over the top with that shot. Now the cue ball's running up and down the table. And we'll have a look at the bracket after this match is over. Well, he can run through and run off the end rail, or he could have stunned it in, whatever he preferred. So MofoThePat is still alive. He's still trailing by 7 racks and can't afford any more mistakes. And that's a big ask. It's a big ask at this stage in the match. And Albinario's came up dry. Happy New Year to any latecomers. Well, Mofo's going to have a long shot in the 4 here, and he's going to have to drop onto that 5 down the right rail, because this is a similar shot he's going to have to he had in that 8 and 9. Well, he's tried to force the cue ball around the table there, and he's hung the 3, and that might be his last shot. The problem's still there for Albinario with the 8 ball. It doesn't go. Now obviously it goes from this side, but it's a very narrow window to get into to try and make a cut in that 8 ball. But we'll see how he overcomes the problem. But he's going to have to do it off the 7 ball at the bottom end of the table. And Albinario has the angle in the 5 to leave the angle in the 6 to get on this 7 on the left hand side. And if he gets it right, he can stun up and drop onto the 8 ball. And that, well, that's maybe going a bit too far. He might have to go across the table twice. But the shot is on. It's risky, but the shot is on to get into that corner. He's trying to, he could try and get into here. Now if he pots that 7, he can go there, there and there. That's a way of getting there. He's managed to try and stun it up and use the spin, and that's not a bad effort. But he's going to collide with the 9, and it all hinges on this collision. And he's dropping onto the 9 into the same pocket. Well, there's a bit of running. So Albinario very swiftly has won this match by 11 racks to 3. And it's all over. Well, Mofo knows the mistakes he made. He could have been well in the match. Well in the match if he'd kept himself in the match. But was a bit too loose and didn't take the chances that he had. So 11 racks to 3, Albinario wins. Let's have a look at the bracket. We'll see how that now shapes up. So Albinario is now sitting there, and he's waiting on the loser of the Z Carioca bedhead match. Now on paper, again, the loser in this match would most likely be Z Carioca. Bedhead the strong favourite for that match tonight, and that is who is going to be playing Albinario. The loser of the match between Bedhead and Z Carioca will be playing in the one-loss side. If we look at the outcome of this match, the winner, of course, of this match is going to be playing Yamaguchi Taru. And goodness knows what the outcome of the match will be, but I have to say Z Carioca is going to have to play a lot tighter in this match against Bedhead if he's going to get anything from it and if he's going to stay in the match. Because positionally and cue ball control wise, everything tells me that Bedhead is going to win it comfortably. That's what you would be thinking, but stranger things happen in a game. Anyway, that match is finished in plenty of time, so that's given me plenty of time to go and get my New Year's dinner. I'll get that. We'll be back for 7 PM tonight for the Bedhead Z Carioca match. And until then, folks, once again, Happy New Year to the guys that are watching, and we will see you again later.